All right, for those of you that haven't been inside of the Mac, down here in the lower left-hand corner, you should find Launchpad. If you go ahead and click on Launchpad, it'll come up and give you the icons. And we're looking for the Adobe After Effects 2021, the AE, and let's go ahead and just select that. What's going to happen is it's going to go in, it's going to open up After Effects for us. You're going to see a start menu. It may come up and show you something a little bit different than what I have on mine, just based upon what was last into here. If you haven't created an account or haven't logged in, go ahead and set that up. You should be able to log in using just your regular email. It's going to ask you to set up an account, but go ahead and create that. And then once you go in and create that, it will allow you to log in. You'll use that same login for each of the applications on this machine. That does not allow you to log in elsewhere, so you can't go home and just download Creative Cloud and log into it. You will need a subscription. Depending on how many classes you have with me, Creative Cloud's probably going to be the cheapest. One for just After Effects. Last I checked, most of the applications, they were charging right around $20 a month just for individual applications. And I think as a student for the first year when you sign up, it's like $25 for the entire Creative Cloud. So the downfall with it is I believe they're going to make you pay an annual setup right away. I don't know if they're letting you do a monthly, and then it's a 1-year contract, of course, and you can pay monthly for that. So everybody logged in? Yes. Okay, once it starts up, this is something that's kind of new inside of the cloud. Is a lot of them have a tutorial that's set up inside of here. You are free to work through this if you want to. What's going to happen when you go in and set that up is it's going to just simply go through and talk about the different panels that we're going to be working with. As we go through lesson 1, getting to know the workflow, you're going to find that most of the stuff is repeated over and over again. The main thing we're going to end up working with is going to be our project panel. As we go through and work with our project panel, this is essentially the repository of where all of the files that we're going to be using inside of any given project are going to actually live. Because when we start dealing with our composition, it's going to show us what's going on screen at that time. And then down here on the bottom part is our timeline. And this is going to show us all of our media assets, the layers that are there, the stacking order of them, so we know what's on top of what. So that way when we go through and play something, if you have text that's behind an image, it's going to never be seen. So we'll pay attention to what is down there. We can adjust these panels. So if you go in between any of them, you'll see these guides. This will allow you to go ahead and move those around. You are free to adjust these really any way that you want to. So increase, decrease, as we start working with a timeline, if you get more and more files in there or more and more layers inside of there, you may find that you want to go ahead and change the size of that. And then once we go in, we're going to start working with additional things. Here's another one where we can go in and continue to learn the basics. If you want to get back to that, at the top of your screen, these are going to be our workspaces. You'll see here we have our Learn workspace. It's going to set everything up just the way you see it on here right now. We also go over to our standard small screen, libraries, and if we pull this up, we can see what else is available to us inside of here dealing with effects. If we're working with color, if we're dealing with animation. Really just depends on what exactly you're doing if you want to go in and switch those. I will tell you that most of the time I don't spend a whole lot of time changing my workspace. If I need a panel, I'll open the panel up and then I'll modify the size of it based upon the real estate that I have on the actual screen. If you go ahead and click in here on standard, you'll see it takes us back. It removes what was there. Yours should look just like this. The only thing that may be different on yours, because I was playing around with this a little bit earlier today, is that down here in the effects and presets, that may be a little smaller. If you move everything around, and after you move them around, you're like, I can't find what I need, or you get on here and somebody else has worked on it and moved the stuff. On any of these, if you go ahead and click the hamburger menu, it's the 3 lines directly next to any of the workspace. You can go ahead and just click on Reset to Saved Layout, and you'll see it goes in and adjusts it. In this case, when we start looking at the standard, over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the effects and presets are really small. If you're working on effects and presets, my guess is you're probably going to want to have this panel a little larger than this, because right now if I do a search for anything, we're not going to see anything in here because this panel is actually such a small panel over here. If we were to come in here and click on some of these, you can go to any of them that you want to. So if we go in here to effects, you'll see that it comes over here and gives me my effects controls. Right now this isn't going to mean a whole lot to you because we haven't gotten into it, but these will be all of our controls based upon whatever effects we go in and we ultimately apply to them. If you go ahead and click on the other ones to see what's happening here, so we start looking in small screen, depending on what you're working. If you're working on a little 13-inch display, you may go ahead and choose this. What it does, if you look on the right, is it kind of stacks up the different items over here. If you click on libraries, there's our main library panel. If you keep an eye on the left, you'll see that most of the stuff dealing with your project composition and timeline are going to stay the same. It's mainly just taking care of and focusing on that right side real estate to go ahead and give us access to the other items that we have on there. If you go back and you click on default, this will take us back in here to the project. On the right, you're going to see that a lot of the other stuff that we work with are going to show up over here. So you can see audio, you can see preview, effects and presets. If we come over here and we click on any of these, you're going to notice that it automatically goes ahead and expands out. This will allow us to work on that area, allow us to adjust what is there. If you simply click back on the name one more time, it will then go ahead and collapse that back down. So it's another quick way to work. Which one you decide to use really, again, is completely up to you. But if you're working along with me, you're going to find that sticking with what it is that I am using is probably going to be the easiest for you to see where the individual content is at. Questions?